Is religion good or bad? Not so long ago, asking the wrong question about religion could get you killed. Seriously? People who simply questioned religious ideas weren't just ignored or sent away. Some were burned alive, in public, while crowds cheered. It sounds like a nightmare, but it was real. And here's the strange part. The same religions that punished those people also created the world's first hospitals, schools, and shelters for the poor. So how can something be so cruel and yet so kind? This isn't just a story about faith, not just the good and not just the bad. It's about the confusing, messy, powerful role religion has played across human history. It shaped our laws, inspired wars, created hope, and caused heartbreak. Okay, let's be honest. Religion is confusing. There are so many opinions, so many arguments, and far too many wars, right? Some people say it's the ultimate truth. Others say it causes more harm than good. And in the middle of all that noise, it's hard to even ask honest questions without being shut down. That's what motivated us to make this video. Not to attack anyone's belief, but to understand what's behind it all. To look past the surface and ask, why do we have religion in the first place? What does it really give us? And why, in so many places, are we not even allowed to question it? We're searching for a deeper truth, or maybe even just a better conversation. Not to prove religion right or wrong, but to make it okay to ask, why is this here? What does it mean? And do we still need it today? Okay, we all kind of feel it. Religion is full of opposites. It's helped people create beautiful art, discover amazing science, and show deep kindness to others. But at the same time, it's caused wars, unfair rules, and painful fights between people who believe different things. And the strange thing is, both sides are true. Religion can bring out the very best in us, and the very worst. That's what makes it so tricky to understand. But we're not here to just say, it's good or it's bad. We're going deeper. We're going to ask, why did people invent religion in the first place? How did it change the way we live? And what is science starting to tell us about our need to believe in something bigger? The birth of religion. Let's go way, way back to a time when people lived in caves and had no science, no schools, not even writing, just fire, fear, and questions. Imagine you're one of them. One day, the sun disappears from the sky. Everything goes dark. The animals go quiet. You're scared, really scared. You don't know it's a solar eclipse. You just think something terrible is happening. So what do? You try to explain it. Maybe a giant monster ate the sun. Maybe the sky gods are angry. These stories weren't silly. They helped people feel safer in a world full of danger. And little by little, those stories became something more. They became religion. Because religion wasn't just about explaining storms or eclipses. It helped people stick together. It gave them shared rules, shared beliefs, and a reason to trust each other. Religion as a unifying force. As small families began living in bigger groups, they needed something strong to keep them together. That's where religion came in. Believing in the same gods and stories helped people feel like they were part of one big team, even if they weren't related. It gave them something to trust in, something bigger than themselves. In ancient Egypt, people believed the pharaoh wasn't just a king. He was a god on earth. That made people feel connected to the heavens through their leader. In Greece, cities that didn't always get along still came together for big festivals to honor gods like Zeus or Athena. Religion gave people a new idea. We belong together. It was powerful, and it worked. As these groups grew into cities and civilizations, religion evolved with them. it wasn't just about rituals anymore. It became a way to ask life's biggest questions. Why are we here? What's right and what's wrong? How should we treat each other? In many ways, religion became the first blueprint for how to live, not just as individuals, but as a society. And that's when something even bigger started to happen. The Great Awakening, when big ideas changed everything. About 2,500 years ago, something strange and amazing happened all around the world at the same time. In India, China, Israel, and Greece, wise teachers appeared, sharing new ways to think about life, kindness, and truth. They didn't know each other. They didn't speak the same languages. But somehow, they taught ideas that were shockingly similar. In India, Buddha taught that people suffer due to a lack of understanding of their own minds. He believed that anyone, whether rich or poor, could learn to find peace. In China, Confucius said kindness, respect, and family values matter more than money or power. If people acted with honor, society would be better for everyone. In Israel, the Hebrew prophets taught that God cared less about sacrifices or grand temples. What truly mattered was how you treated others, especially the poor, the weak, and even your enemies. In Greece, philosophers like Socrates asked big questions. What is truth? What is a good life? He believed people could find wisdom by thinking deeply and speaking honestly. Even though these teachers lived far apart, their messages had something in common. Be kind. Look inside yourself. Every person has value, no matter their job, skin color, or wealth. These ideas changed the world forever. They became the heart of many of today's biggest religions. In Hinduism, the idea of karma taught that your actions shape your future, not just in this life, but in the next ones too. It made people think twice before doing harm. Buddhism gave people tools to understand their thoughts and escape suffering. You didn't need a priest. You could test it yourself. Judaism said people had a special relationship with one God, and that this God wanted them to care for others and do what's right. Christianity built on Jewish ideas, but added something new. Love can change hearts. Anyone can start fresh, no matter their past. Islam united many tribes by promoting one God, Allah. It provided clear rules for prayer, generosity, and fairness. But here's the real breakthrough. Before this time, religion mostly belonged to kings, rulers, or priests. Ordinary people were told what to believe, but they didn't have a personal connection. Now, for the first time, religion opened the door to everyone, rich or poor, man or woman. It gave people a chance to connect with something greater than themselves, to ask life's biggest questions, and maybe to find their own answers. And once people started asking those questions, something even more powerful began to unfold. Religion's greatest gifts. Religion has not only shaped beliefs, but has also built many great aspects of our world. Did you know that the first universities came from religious schools? In Europe, they started inside big churches called cathedrals. In the Muslim world, they began in places called madrasas. People studied math, science, medicine, and more. They believed that learning helped them understand the universe and God. And when deadly plagues hit Europe, most people ran away. But not the monks and nuns. They stayed behind to care for the sick. Over time, this care grew into something we now call hospitals, a place where anyone, even a stranger, could get help. Religion also helps shape how we think about fairness and justice. Everyone deserves respect, whether rich or poor, strong or weak. This belief comes from religious teachings that say each person carries a piece of something divine. For billions of people, religion has been more than just rules or rituals. It gave them strength when life was hard. It gave comfort when someone they loved died, and it gave them hope, the sense that their life mattered, no matter how small it seemed. And yet, this is where the story takes a turn, because the same beliefs that lifted people up have also been used to tear people down. The same sacred words that inspired peace have also been twisted into weapons. When religion turns dark. On September 11th, 2001, we remember the day when terrorists took control of 4 planes. They crashed them on purpose, killing nearly 3,000 people in New York. They believed their religion told them to do it. As hard as that is to hear, it wasn't the first time, and sadly, not the last, that people used religion to hurt others. A long time ago, Crusader armies went to Jerusalem and killed thousands for their faith. During the Inquisition, people were tortured for believing the wrong things. Around the world, religious fights have caused wars, from Northern Ireland to the Middle East. In India, fights between Hindus and Muslims have turned deadly. In Myanmar, even some Buddhist monks, who are part of a peaceful religion, have spread violence against Muslims. But it's not just about fighting. Throughout history, religion has sometimes been used to control people. It's been used to say, you can't question this, or you're less important because of your gender, race, or beliefs. Even good ideas can become dangerous if people stop asking questions. Religion as control. For thousands of years, religion and power have often worked together. Kings and queens would say, God chose me to rule. In return, religious leaders would support the king and grow rich and powerful themselves. But there was a price. Women were often told to be quiet or obey men. This was due to how some interpreted old religious texts. In the past, even slavery was defended using parts of the Bible. Explorers who arrived in new lands often destroyed native religions. They forced people to adopt their beliefs. Some religious groups still hide wrongdoings to protect their image. They do this even if it means ignoring those who were hurt. But maybe the most dangerous thing is fear. When someone says, only we know what happens after you die, it can give them a lot of control. They may use heaven and hell to frighten people into obeying. But fear doesn't make us wiser or kinder. It doesn't bring us closer to truth, just closer to control. So what do we do with all this? How can the same faith that teaches peace and love also cause harm and fear? That's the question we have to face. And maybe the answer doesn't lie only in history, but deep inside our own minds. Why our brains are wired for belief. There was a well-known Austrian analytical psychologist named Carl Jung. He deeply researched psychology and religions from many different parts of the world. He saw something unusual. Even in places that never spoke to each other, people shared similar stories and symbols. Jung believed this wasn't a coincidence. He said we all share a kind of mental map built into our brains. He called it the collective unconscious, a group of ideas and patterns we're all born with. Think about a little kid who's afraid of the dark, even if they've never seen a scary movie. Why? Because a long time ago, darkness meant danger, like wild animals. That fear helped people survive. Jung thought something similar happens with religion. Some ideas feel truly meaningful. For example, a strong mother figure, a hero who dies and returns, or a fight between good and evil. These themes appear everywhere, since they touch something deep within us. Carl Jung referred to this as the archetypes. In other words, we're built to think spiritually. Our brains are wired to search for meaning, to tell stories, and to believe in something bigger. That might explain why religion shows up in every human culture, even when people live oceans apart. Now let's go even deeper, into a place where science and spirit might start to meet. Metaphysics connections. Quantum physics is a field of science. It explores things smaller than atoms. These are the tiniest parts of reality. But here's the wild part. These tiny things don't follow the normal rules of science. They behave in ways that seem impossible. Sometimes a particle can be in more than one place at once, until someone looks at it. At times, two particles can talk to each other instantly. This can happen even if they're on opposite sides of the universe. Isn't this crazy? It blows my mind, to be honest with you. That's why some people say quantum physics is beyond regular science. It's meta, meaning it goes way deeper than what we can see or touch. And this has made some scientists wonder, could these strange discoveries help explain some of the deep spiritual experiences people have had for thousands of years? The feeling of being connected to everything? The sense that your mind is more than just your brain? Take Sarah, for example. She's a brain scientist, not religious at all. But one day, during a quiet meditation, she felt all the lines between her and the world disappear. She felt connected to everything, like she was part of the whole universe. That might sound like something from an old spiritual book, but quantum physics also says that, in a very real way, everything is connected. So, was Sarah tapping into something real? Something our ancestors tried to describe through religion? Or was it just a beautiful moment created by her mind? We don't know yet. Science and spirit might explain the same mystery, but from different views. This brings us back to the big question. Is religion a blessing or a curse? The truth is, it can be both. It all depends on how people use it. When religion teaches kindness, forgiveness, and wonder, it brings out the best in us. It helps people grow, care for others, and feel hope, even in hard times. When it's about rules, pride, or claiming we're better than them, it can spark fear, anger, and hate. It's not really about which religion someone follows. It's about how they follow it. Think about two neighbors who go to the same church. One listens to the parts about helping the poor and loving your enemies. Over time, they become more kind and caring. The other focuses on scary messages about punishment. They believe their group is the only one that is right. They start to feel angry and afraid of others. Same religion, very different hearts. That's the real lesson. So, where does that leave us? Religion, like many powerful human ideas, can bring out both the best and the worst in us. At its best, it helps people connect, find meaning, learn kindness, and feel comfort in tough times. At its worst, it can divide people, hurt them, and suggest that one group is better than all others. The real question isn't just, is religion good or bad? The better question is, does it help us become more loving, more fair, more human? Or does it make us afraid of anyone who's different? There's an old story from Buddhism that explains this well. It's about some blind men who meet an elephant. One touches the trunk and says, "An elephant is like a snake." Another touches the leg and says, "No, it's like a tree." Another grabs the tail and says, "You're both wrong. It's like a rope." Each person feels part of the truth, but none of them sees the whole thing. Maybe religion is like that too. Every faith may see just a piece of something much bigger than any person or group can fully grasp. And here's something worth remembering. We are still in the middle of the story. The universe is evolving. Human thinking is evolving. We are evolving. Maybe in another 100 or 1,000 years, we'll look back and smile at how divided we once were. Maybe we'll finally find a way to connect all those different views, like puzzle pieces, into one clearer picture. Because in the end, we might all be describing the same thing, just from different angles. Humans always seek meaning, whether through religion, personal beliefs, or other ways to understand the world. The challenge for all of us, whether you believe in God, many gods, or none, is to remain humble and kind. Because history shows the moment we say, "Only we are right," that's when the real danger begins. So is religion a blessing or a curse? Maybe the better answer is, it depends on what we do with it. If you've made it this far, thank you. We'd love to hear from you. What do you think? Has religion shaped your life in a good way or challenged you to think more deeply? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's learn from each other. Just remember, no matter your background or belief, this is a place for thoughtful, respectful conversation. After all, we're all still learning. And maybe, just maybe, we're all reaching for the same truth.